Welcome back for episode 2 of Thunder and Spark, take 2.
Refilm.
Take 2 because I ruined it last time. We had some issues. You might have heard about it. We had gremlins that had just ruined all kinds of stuff, and our original filming session of take 2 for Thunder and Spark episode 2 was one of those. So sorry.
I feel like though that week nothing was going to go right. So
No.
Yeah.
I don't think whether it was you or anyone else, like anything that could have gone wrong when it comes to video, audio, just everything was a disaster.
It
all
was.
week long.
It was.
terrible.
We're still fighting a little bit of them, but the big issues that we had back here have now been corrected. We've got a new audio interface that we're using so that we're not using different connection types. We're using a different camera for this. We changed everything, except for I'm still sitting at the kids' table, and that's okay. We'll eventually get that fixed. So
We're going to have a GoFundMe for Dustin to have a real table.
Yep. It's okay. This is the Thunder and Spark podcast. I'm just like,
you're just kind of over there, so that way we can just like separate the little kids table. Like, bye bye.
I'm like Chuck Woolery here. I'm just here like to host and like guide you guys along into different activities. That's pretty much I'm the Ryan Seacrest of.
All right.
He went there. Tony Spark.
Why do you have to
hates
start it out?
Ryan Seacrest.
Okay, listen. I don't know that it's a hate of Ryan Seacrest. I got nothing against the guy, I guess. Like,
You called him a
personally.
jabroni.
He is a jabroni, but I have nothing against the guy. All right. Is he going for the world record of most shows hosted by a person? Because
Yeah.
I feel like, listen, if you happen to see the live that we did the other day, look, I'm an avid wheel watcher, and yes, I know that makes it seem like I'm 115 years old, but that's fine. So Pat Sajak's retiring. Enjoy, ride off into the sunset. He's done it for how long he's done it for? Like 40 something years.
Yeah, a long
That's
time.
incredible.
That's so long.
Congratulations.
Not
Pat.
only is that a long time to just have any job, but to be on television
Right.
and host a show
Dude.
is crazy. But, it was getting time for him to move on. And then they announced the Jeopardy. Remember when they went through Jeopardy, like the whole big who's going to host it? It was like a big thing for a long time.
Yeah.
Wheel of Fortune, there was none of that. It was like Pat Sajak stepping down. Bam. Here comes Ryan Seacrest. Like, why?
Do you think that they're going to make it different? They're going to change it up?
What are you going to? I don't know. You can't change the wheel. It's the wheel.
One of the games is going to be like, you have to sing, and the accuracy of your singing will determine what kind
This
of
is
prize
what's going to
you get.
happen. This is why he's going to be a jabroni, because he's going to come in and he's going to change. Things are going to change. And
I don't feel like he's the kind of guy who will come in and try to change things, because he has always just been I'm the host that will do whatever you tell me to do kind of guy.
Yeah.
He just wants to be the guy, and that's cool. However, I kind of feel like he's in between filming right now, going into some kind of cryogenic freezer cooler because he's not aging at all. Like he hasn't changed one bit since he started doing this back in 1995 or whatever the hell it
it's been
was.
forever.
Early 2000s.
Oh, on E. He was a host on E Network.
Before American
I
Idol.
loved him. Yeah. Yes, I loved him. Loved him.
But
Watched E all the time.
I'm like, okay, he did. Does he still do Idol? He still does Idol, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I stopped
I
watching.
haven't listened.
After Simon
Idol is-
Cowell
I
left.
didn't even know Idol was still going.
The only time I see anything on Idol now is like clips on TikTok, and it is those three. They're so cringy. It's terrible.
It's Katy Perry, Luke Bryan, and
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. That's right. That's right.
Three people. Well, one of those people clinging to relevancy. The other two cashing a paycheck. Anyway, I think that Ryan Seacrest is a terrible choice for Wheel of Fortune. Because if it was me, why would you have not made Vanna White the host of Wheel of Fortune?
I know. I agree.
Vanna
Maybe
White.
she didn't want it though.
That's true.
But at least make known that you offered her this job and she turned it down.
Yeah, and maybe she did, and we don't know that, but they've had Pat Sajak's daughter, Maggie Sajak, involved in the show recently in the last couple of seasons of it. So I would have made Vanna White the host, and Maggie Sajak would have become the new Vanna White.
So,
But you bring in this Ryan Seacrest, who just jumps from network to network, cashing checks and just going to the highest bidder. Come on.
So Wheel.
There's a fly in here.
I know, there is a fly in here. It's driving me nuts.
Bugging this shit out of
There's
me.
a fly in here.
Wheel of Fortune producers, if you ever have the need to have a substitute host, Tony Spark is your guy.
I don't want to
You would
host
be
though.
so
I don't want
good
to
at it.
host. I want to
Great.
play.
You'd be good at either.
I want to play because I sit at home and I watch it, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty good at it.
I bet you are.
I just need to you can there's a whole application process, and you create a video of saying why you should be on Wheel of Fortune and all of that. I just haven't done it yet.
Well, camera's rolling, bro. Why should you be on Wheel of Fortune?
Because I'm good at it. I don't know. See, that's the thing. They have a whole list of things on the application.
Wait, here's the funny part. Somebody's going to see this. They're going to be like, we got to get Tony Spark. They bring Tony Spark on, and there Ryan Seacrest walks out on stage, and he's like, oh.
You don't like me?
You're the guy. You're the guy.
That would be so great.
One of the puzzles is going to be jabroni, and you're going to have to solve it, and it's going to be embarrassing.
Here's the thing. Here's what I would fear would happen if I was on Wheel of Fortune, though. I can sit in the living room and I can get it pretty quickly, without audios. And when we watch it, we get pretty into it. We'll be yelling at the TV, what are you doing? Why would you guess that? And all of that stuff. But then I'll get them pretty quick, and I'm like, I would get on that show.
And we'd be yelling at you.
No, yeah, no, I would get on the show, and I would just be sitting there, holding my little buzzer, and I'd be like, of course, wait a minute. There's no buzzer in Wheel. I'm thinking of the little thing they use to spin the thing.
You're thinking of Jeopardy.
Well, then for a while they had a little thing that you use to spin it. I'd be sitting there and it'd come to me and they'd be like, would you like a letter? And I'd be like, X. I don't know, just something stupid. And then I would just be frozen. And then I'd be at the end where Pat Sajak would come up and this person would have won $30,000. This person would have won, $18,000 and would have come to me who has nothing.
You have negative 300.
No, you don't have negative, but when you have nothing, he said he'll come to you and he'll just be like, well, Tony, it was great to meet you and thanks for coming out. We got $1,000 for you to go home with today. Thank you for being on the show. And because they at least give you $1,000.
They give you a pity gift.
It's going to cost me $2,000 to get to Wheel of Fortune. So I'm going to come out in the negative and all this. That's what would happen is I would freeze on there.
See, Wheel producers, how can you not want this guy on there? This is gold.
It's gold.
No, they'll be like, oh no, we can't have somebody who's going to freeze on there.
We can't have somebody who's going to get into an argument with Ryan Seacrest on there.
I did.
Listen, Ryan, just trade me places for a minute. Here, you try to guess the puzzle and I'll host and I'll show you how this is supposed to be done, okay?
Yeah. I just lost my whole train of thought. I had it. I had something I was going to say.
We probably have covered Wheel enough at this point that we need to go ahead and pivot to our next subject here.
Okay. What was I going to say? I had it. God, bless America.
This is what would happen on Wheel.
Yeah. This is exactly what would happen on Wheel. I'd full on pull a Candy Thunder and
just. That's what I was when you were explaining what would happen. I was like, so you're just going to be me in real life.
Oh, no. I watched one episode of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune where they have celebrities do it all and then all the money goes to charity that they do it. Mm-hmm. And boy, they should choose celebrities a little better because I was pretty disappointed.
Nobody knew.
I'm like, boy, y'all are dumb. I was like, the one that I felt really bad about was the one doctor from Grey's Anatomy, Richard. He was on there.
Oh yeah.
He was terrible. It was like he wasn't even paying attention or didn't know. And I'm like,
Richard Weber.
Well, you are clearly not a doctor.
Oh no.
Because the worst is when people would guess a letter that's already been said or is already up on the board. And he did that every time. He would guess one that's already been said or one that was already up there. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Richard! Why would you do this to me, Richard? You're cheating with that woman, Alice. I know you are.
We have to add that to your impressions video. I forgot about Adele.
Oh shit. Okay,
Wheel of Fortune rant over.
Wheel of Fortune, moving on. As we looked at or tried to remember the kind of things we talked about in the first time we filmed this before I ruined it, one of the topics was ranch flavored things. As you know, if you've watched this podcast before, we tried some ranch flavored ice cream, which is like saying Voldemort here. It's just we're not supposed to say that phrase anymore, but I had to reference it. But Tony Spark has some feelings about ranch flavored things in general. Would you please tell us what your feelings are here?
Listen, first off, the ranch ice cream.
Listen, I'm making a shirt for Tony that just says listen.
It's just Tony Spark ranting.
I'll be like Peter Griffin. You know what really grinds my gears? I'm like, that's what this is going to be. Listen, I am okay with ice cream and I'm okay with ranch, but those are two things that do not need to go together because let me tell you, if you see it in the store, keep walking. Don't make eye contact with it. Don't even look at it because it's awful. But why do we feel the need to flavor everything make everything ranch flavored?
Not just ranch, it's Hidden Valley.
Hidden Valley Ranch, which if you're going to choose a ranch, that's the worst ranch to choose. But listen, ranch is a condiment. You dip things in ranch. I don't need, if you want something flavored ranch, dip it in the ranch. Don't flavor it that way. I don't need ranch flavored ice cream. I don't need ranch flavored popcorn. I don't need ranch flavored bugles. If I want it ranch flavored, I'm going to dip it in it. Like if you have a pizza, you have chicken, you have all that. Great. Look, I'm as Midwest as the next guy. Love my ranch. We'll dip a lot of stuff in it, but I don't need it flavored. Like I don't need it. Like everything. And in a Hidden Valley, again, there are so much better ranch companies and flavors out there than that. And it's ridiculous. Like why? And disclaimer, Cool Ranch Doritos do not count as ranch flavored.
Correct.
Cool Ranch Doritos are a completely different flavor than ranch dressing. But it's when you make things that are ranch dressing flavored, like who in their right mind thought that ranch flavored ice cream was a good idea?
Somebody who was really high. Or
And we ate it.
And we ate it. And we didn't just eat it. I bought 2 of these things. Like,
I think this is one of those things that it's not product developers that come up with. It's not the normal people. It's somebody in the social media department or marketing that's like, hey, if you did this, it's going to be terrible, but it's going to get so much coverage, and it worked.
It did. I mean, look at it. Here we are for the second podcast talking about it.
Yeah, it'd be a sales boost.
Ranch flavored sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
Or pickle. Pickle is also another one where they flavor
They're flavoring everything. Have you seen where they're taking ranch flavored pickles? Like,
there's
why?
ranch flavored. There's ranch dressing with pickles.
They like it's a thing where you take the ranch packet and you dump it in the pickles and you do it. Listen, why don't you just dip your pickle in the ranch? Why don't you just dip it in it if you want it that bad?
A fried pickle and ranch would be
that
good.
is
that's actually really good.
acceptable.
And Hackett's, like a block over, has some really good fried pickles.
But that's what you're doing with ranch dressing. It's a condiment. It's a dip. Like you use it to dip something in. You don't if you want something ranch flavored, dip it in the ranch. Stop flavoring everything like it and calling it. I mean, like, oh, look at this. No, it's stupid.
So here's something that I'd like to experiment with. If you're a listener on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or one of the audio channels where you don't get to see the video version of this and you've never seen Tony Spark, I'd like for you to answer the poll that is what did you think of this episode, and tell us how old do you think Tony Spark is based on his old man rants.
Okay.
I think if you've never seen him, I'd like to know just based on hearing him.
I would like to say that instead of old man rants, I would like to just say that I'm opinionated. I mean, I think that, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the wheel. Listen, don't be judging the wheel until you watch the wheel.
I'm not judging the wheel. I'm not at all. I just think, if someone hadn't seen you and they only heard
No, his voice gives them away. It gives your age away, I feel like.
Maybe.
Everybody always thinks I'm older, though, than what I am.
Maybe.
What do people guess your age is?
44.
Wow. I would like to say this is the end of my time on the Thunder and Spark podcast. Thank you very much. Kidding. It was nice to see you.
44 is not bad.
Dustin's like, I'm staring 44 in the face.
When you're 30.
Oh, yeah. You just hit 30, didn't you?
31.
31.
Yeah.
Just a pup.
Yeah. Feeling older every day.
Yeah.
Just wait till you're 35.
Listen,
your hips hurt.
I have reached a stage in my life where I feel like I feel different times when I'm getting older because I'm now if I wake up and I've slept wrong on my pillow, if I've used the wrong pillow, it ruins my day.
Right.
My neck hurts and I'm off for the whole day and it's terrible. Or you wake up and your knee hurts or your leg hurts. What did you do? I don't know. I slept. I woke up and something hurts. Also, I just feel like I am getting older in that sense. But yeah, I don't know. People usually would guess probably 3-4 years ago, if we'd go out with some buddies to the bar and I have one buddy who's 42 now, 43. So a few years ago, he's almost 40 and I'm in my 20s and we would go to the bar and we would always play the game with the bartender. Who do you think is older? Mm-hmm. And they would always say me over him. And I'm like, this is bullshit. I was like, he's old enough to be my dad.
Oh no.
And I was like, this is bullshit. I would get so mad about it, but now it's
not a bad thing though. I mean, for a guy, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I mean, to appear older than you are. I say that as, the guy who had the beginnings of a gray beard in my early 30s. So I always just welcomed it. Whatever, rock it out.
I think the only thing that saves me now is that now that I am a little, I'm in my 30s now, apparently. That's what happens when you turn 30.
Yep.
You're just, I'm in my 30s.
Yep.
Gross, disgusting. But like, I have a lot of times I have
The 30s have been my best years.
I have the mindset and the the partying ability of somebody younger than me. So I can tend to hang out with people a little bit younger than me. So then people don't necessarily think I'm as old as I am. And I'm like, but then people who are like my age or a little bit older are like, oh, shouldn't you start slowing down a little bit? And I'm like, oh, they're like, when are you gonna, slow down a little bit? And I'm like, I can see
my ass. We're going streaking in the quad. Who's coming?
I mean,
That's Tony Spark.
yeah, I can sleep when I'm dead, unless the pillow's not right.
I'm currently in the spot where I've bought like how many pillows?
Oh my
There's like 10 pillows in our room that I'm like, no, next. This one doesn't work.
But here's the deal: you can't really test drive a pillow, right? It's like you gotta buy it to test it out.
I agree 100%. How are you supposed to know? Like, because I bought pillows in the store and you feel them, like, okay, I think this is right.
Nice.
And then you get home and you're like, nope, this is not it.
We have like 20 reject pillows in our house that Candy Thunder has bought and been like, it's not the one. It's just not the one. And somehow
In a slipper.
Yeah, basically, yes.
somehow they all get stacked up on my side of the bed, which is really funny. I have an army of pillows on my side of the bedroom. 3 or 4 of them will be stacked up on my side of the bed. And like, I use them now to protect my actual pillow from Luna's stanky ass from laying on it so I don't crawl into bed and smell her butthole when I go to bed. So I do find some use for them, but it's like we don't just throw them out. We keep them for some reason because we're like, oh, you never know. We might play host to a bunch of Syrian refugees or something that need pillows. It's
you might be trying to like break a world record for a pillow fight or something.
We might end up having a sleepover. One of our kids could have a sleepover and forget 8 of them could forget their pillows. And if that happens,
and they each have 2.
We're covered.
I know you're shocked by this, but I actually have more pillows than I have drinks on at one time. But no, when I was younger, I found this pillow that had a memory foam core, and then it was like wrapped in the down alternative, and it was the best pillow I've ever had.
Never found it again.
I've never found it again, and I'm looking for this pillow.
Please help us if you know where this pillow is.
Please call 855.
I can't have a thick pillow, so right now I have a pillow that goes like this, and so it like curves under my neck. It works.
So the land of Candy's discarded pillows, she lays down and gets a pillow. It's like, nope, that's not right. She just chucks it and it lands on Dustin. Like,
yeah,
pretty much how it goes. Yeah, I've also gotten to the age where I really have a hard time sleeping when I'm not in my own bed.
Same.
Yeah.
Like if I'm staying somewhere, like if I'm staying at a buddy's, or if even hotel is questionable depending on where you're at. But like if I'm visiting relatives or I'm visiting a friend and I'm staying somewhere, like I just can't, like I don't sleep.
Right.
Unless I'm in my bed. Even like at the lake. If I'm not sleeping in my bed that I usually sleep in there, it's like, I just don't.
But in your 20s, like you could lay down on someone's
sleep on the floor.
On somebody's porch and be like, all right, this is my spot.
I'm passing out here.
I mean, I remember being at a party when I was like 19 and sleeping on the bathroom floor with a roll of toilet paper as a pillow and woke up ready to go the next morning. Like,
pop open a beer that's laying next to you.
Be like, oh, there's my vodka from last night. Here we go.
Hair of the dog. Let's rock and roll.
I did sleep. That's like when you sleep in a dog bed. Did that once at a party too. Hair of the dog gives a whole different meaning,
Cracking open your
now
jungle
it's like
juice.
I need my foam, I need my right pillow, I need my ceiling fan, I need my other fan blowing on me, I need optimal room temperature, like all of that. If that's not all there, done.
That is the definition of welcome to your 30s.
Yeah.
The right pillow, the right temperature, the right fan.
I'm a big temperature guy though.
Yes.
Sorry. Water went down the wrong pipe. So, clearly Tony Spark has a much more adventurous life than we do. So we just live vicariously through him, at least for the adventurous side. And we tell him all of our kid stories, and he can live vicariously through us for that. And, all of our kid problems, parenting problems.
I'm sitting there going,
You're like, oh, that sounds horrible. I'm getting wasted on the lake tonight.
Yeah. It'll be like, oh, so-and-so had this, we had this practice and this. And I'm like, they're like, what'd you do this weekend? I'm like, well, the parts that I remember were pretty good.
Yeah.
Sunburned my face.
Got burned.
I am so burnt. I haven't even recovered from last week's sunburn. Like I still have like
You're
the
gonna have
sun
to get a
rash
rash
going
guard.
on.
That's what I told him. I told him to get a rash guard.
I still have the sunburn from last weekend, and I'm about to be at the lake for
Tony.
a week. So
Tony, you're in your 30s now. You need a rash
Yeah,
guard.
that's
I'm in my 30s now. I just need to be like in a full like bodysuit, shades.
Yes.
Like
no. You have a hat now, right? Did
no,
you order the hat?
I didn't go get it.
No.
I needed to.
You just go to
I was
Academy.
going to order it because I've been ordering other stuff this week, and I was like, oh,
I got a big Chiefs straw hat that you could use.
I had a Chiefs straw hat last year, 2 years ago, and somebody stole it.
I'll bring mine. You can use it.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, that's evil.
know.
Hey, speaking of people who live much more adventurous lives than we do, there is an OnlyFans/Twitch star that goes live while sleeping and makes a couple grand every night
Just sleeping.
sleeping.
Yeah.
And what if you add in
So she said if you add in the conversions from Twitch and then they convert to her OnlyFans page,
Yeah.
she yields about 10 to 15,000 from going live while she sleeps.
A night?
A night. Well, she doesn't do it every night because she said it ruins the novelty of it. So she has to wait and does it like a couple nights a month. But holy shit.
wait,
Like, okay.
I saw
It's
the pictures.
OnlyFans. Is she sleeping naked or is she just sleeping?
No, she has pajamas on. They had like little tiny little unicorns. Like
In
cutesy.
the absolute kind of fetish is this?
So she said that they send gifts in order to set off the like alarms that she's getting a gift on Twitch to try to wake her up. So they'll send gifts and in order for her phone to ding to wake her up. So she said she has to be.
What is going on in the world that people
so
Oh, she's a
doing
beautiful
this?
woman.
if it were you and me doing this, it'd be like, oh my God, he snores really loud. I would probably fart in my
I was
sleep.
gonna say they're gonna send gifts and make you fart in your sleep.
Yeah, it would be a very unattractive kind of. I don't think anybody would like give us money to watch us sleep. Yeah,
They might
Plus,
with the pups.
well,
if you
yeah,
let Luna on the bed.
partway through the night, you know,
See the thing she does in the middle of the night? Like,
see Luna putting her asshole on my pillow because somebody's knocked all the Candy Thunder's discarded pillows off of my pillows. You know, that's what would
Sleeping
happen.
is just a bunch of pillows all around.
Here's
and a dog.
my biggest problem with Luna sleeping in my spot until I get to bed because I stay up a couple extra hours and get work done or game or whatever.
I do not.
Is I crawl into bed and my spot's warm.
that's the
I
worst.
need cool sheets, especially when I'm first crawling into bed. I need it to be cool. I don't want it to be warm. It's like it really bothers me. And Luna is just like, this is my spot when you're not here. I'm the designated sleeper. Like, please don't.
She doesn't do it every night.
that stare.
She does it every night. The problem, well, what makes it appear like she's not doing it every night is that I'll take her outside like right before I go to bed so she can go pee so she doesn't wake me up at 4 a.m. And I hear her jump off the bed every night. It's like clunk, clunk. And I'm like, yep. Figured. Anyway,
Or you'd
this
see, you'd see Oliver running around our bed trying to get up on the bed.
He can't make it.
He can, but he like gets scared sometimes, especially when he has a toy in his mouth. So it's just him walking around our room, and he's like,
Just building up the courage
yeah.
to do it.
and I'm
it's
like,
it's like this. It's like
and we're both like, just do it, Oliver.
and then he goes to the other side. We've called him a river dancer before because his little nails on our hardwood
And we
floors.
trim his nails. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
He's just tap dancing his way across the bedroom back and forth while we're trying to go to sleep. It's great.
But yeah. Why would you sit and pay to watch someone sleep?
Okay.
That's like serial killer shit. Like you're
That's
just
like
stalking,
Yeah.
stalker, serial killer stuff. Like, I'm going to watch you sleep. Like, who does that?
Now, the challenge of trying to wake her up, I understand a little bit more because people are into these live challenge things now more. There was one I saw last night as I was scrolling through, and it was these guys who were pumping up an air mattress with a hand pump, but each gift type was worth different amounts of pumps. And this thing, when I found it, was about to bust. And they had some gifts where like one of the guys would have to lay underneath it while they pumped it up. So if it exploded, it would
yeah.
explode. Yeah. So this thing was going to explode.
Why?
I didn't hang around to find out. But these guys, it was really smart because these guys were like, no more. Please share the live. So like because
like
they don't want it to explode, but they want you to gift. So it's just really funny. And this is the same kind of thing. It's like
It's a good idea
she
for your
doesn't
next live.
Yeah.
she doesn't want to be woken up, but she does because she wants the gifts to flow in for it. For 10 to 15 grand a night, I'd friggin' get woken up
That is
Right.
that is
every
insane.
10 minutes.
Of course, the whole OnlyFans thing, anyway, the amount of people make on there is absolutely
It's mind-blowing.
crazy. Yeah.
Which
She makes millions
Which it
a
also
year. She's in-
makes no sense at all. Because I don't know if y'all have been on the internet lately, but there's free porn everywhere. You don't have to pay for it.
But it's not I think, don't they engage? Like they can do
well,
certain levels. I've never been on it, so I
think
don't
it
know.
must be like, they have a follow. Like, I think that's what it is. So like they may have a following on something and then maybe that's what it is. And people like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't understand it because I'm like,
Yeah.
We've
Google.
talked about doing spicy story readings on an OnlyFans and ultimately decided not to do it because it's just not the direction we want to go with it. We could probably make good money doing it. It's just not where we want to go. However, I did record a batch of stories to fall asleep to last night, and those are going to be a YouTube playlist sometime soon. So that's going to be cool. But they're like, we create prompts and then we use AI to basically write the full stories. So it's a bunch of are like classic fairy tales with modern twists, and then a bunch are just random ones that we've created. But it's going to be a cool thing that you can set and like shuffle the playlist and literally just fall asleep to it. Now that's cool.
Do you guys fall asleep to listening to things?
oh, I
TV?
have to have the TV on. That's why I have like the shows that are just my continuous, like, I call them my fall asleep to shows, right? Like it's the ones I've seen. Doesn't matter whether I watch it or not. Because more often than not, I hit play and I never watch it because I'm on my phone or doing something
Right.
else. But it's just a constant rotation of Friends, Seinfeld,
New Girl?
New Girl, Parks and Rec. I just started Shameless again too, which I don't know if you guys ever
We
watched
haven't
Shameless.
watched.
I love Shameless. Frank Gallagher is amazing. And like he's a giant piece of shit, but he's the funniest. Like imagine, have you seen anything
An
about
amazing piece
have
of
you
That's
shit.
what I want my headstone to say.
An amazing piece of shit.
He's amazing.
Honestly, I'd take
He's
it.
a real piece of shit.
Like, so have you seen anything
Done.
about Shameless? So the show's over now, but it's about this family in Chicago, like on the south side of Chicago. So like a very poor area. And there's 6 kids and the dad is Frank Gallagher. And he is a drunk addict. I mean, worthless, degenerate of a human being. Like, and has been that way their whole lives, right? So the oldest daughter basically raises all the kids. And their kids, like some of them look different, but it's like one of the jokes is like they look different, but they all have the same dad, but except for one. But it's just a story of like this family and all the shit they get into because like they basically have to scrounge and fight to get money to do anything. And then Frank is just the master of scamming and like will just come up with the most random shit, but he's drunk every night. Like the show is hilarious. Like the characters on it are really like the kids are already funny, and it goes on for like, I don't know, 9 seasons. So when they start, they're all like, some of them are young. One of them's a baby, like young teenagers, and
Right.
then they all grow up. But it's great. It's a great show. But that's what I'm currently, my fall asleep to show is.
So Candy
I laugh
Thunder
every time.
is the opposite. She needs like complete sensory deprivation to fall asleep to. It's got to be absolute silence, and that makes my skin crawl.
So last night you had turned on the what is that thing that like projects onto the ceiling for TV?
Oh, yeah.
And it had like blue lights and like ocean creatures. And when I get in bed, I use the Nest app to turn off all the lights. And then shining in our bedroom door is this disco ball, like ocean creatures, like real, like on the door. And I'm like, I have to get out of bed. I'm like I've got the covers pulled up and you're not there. You're at work. So I have to get out of bed and turn off actually, no, I decided I wasn't going to get out of bed. I rolled over so I couldn't see it.
Just don't look at it.
And then I had to get up for something. I like woke up suddenly, like I had to pee really bad or something. And so I was like, well, so I went out and turned it off. But I was cursing
your
you so
OnlyFans
bad.
gifts triggered the alarm.
I'm getting our retirement.
It's okay.
Like I'll even, like if I wake up in the middle of the night, like 2 or 3 o'clock and the TV will have timed out and gone off by then, I'll like wake up, I'll turn it back on and hit play
God.
again and go back
Start
to
the
sleep.
process
That makes
again.
me, like, I can't
I have to, like,
cannot
even
fall asleep.
if I'm somewhere where I don't have a TV, I'll push play on my phone.
No.
And even sometimes I don't even have to watch it, but I'll just like turn on Netflix on my phone and just put it face down. So I could just like, I have to have something.
Have you ever noticed that subliminally steering your dreams?
Every now and then you'll have I'll have a dream where it's like one of those characters in the show will be in it, or like, it's very rare. I think it's maybe happened a couple times where it's like you feel like you're in the show or something.
It's like the
But you
episode of Black Mirror.
And then those times when you're asleep, but you can still hear it and it's like playing in your dream and you can hear it too. And you're like, what is that?
It's very Inception-like.
Yeah.
It's
Movie
wild.
freaks me out.
That is wild.
Love that movie.
So this is
It's so good.
somebody being able to pull that much money just by sleeping. I mean, it's more power to her. It's smart.
I mean,
it's,
yeah.
and she's not doing anything degenerate either. You know what I mean? It's not. She's not
is that
getting.
all she does, or is
she's
it
not
just a
getting
part of
corny
what
with
she
it.
does?
I mean, as far as I saw, that she just is sleeping, and she gets woken up, and if that happens, I don't know. I didn't see video; I just saw pictures.
Yeah, I don't.
So, but she sleeps
I don't
without
get
like
it.
the
I mean-
covers on, and like, yeah. I mean, she was laying like butt towards the camera, so maybe that's. I don't know. I'm not judging her. I mean, if you can make that much money from sleeping,
wild.
Get the
do
bag
it.
however you can get the bag, I guess. Like, it's,
I mean, make your money for 10 years and retire. Like, I mean, she's definitely making enough to be able to live off for the rest of her life.
We've taken a much slower route to monetization and growth. Like
Like
it's,
20 cents a day.
yeah, we've taken a much slower route.
basically like the shelter puppies with Sarah McLachlan. Like for 20 cents a day, you can support the
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. We have a video
We're-
of Oliver
we're
at
like-
the back door and you singing that song. And he has like the sweetest puppy face on.
It was probably right after he tried to chew through the glass.
He does do that.
He's probably
does
trying to
do that.
escape the
No,
exploding Diet Coke.
No, he tries to chew through the glass when I'm outside because he can't
If
handle
Mama's on the other side of the
he has
door,
anxiety issues.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he would crawl up her ass if he could. Literally would.
He's my baby boy.
He knows it. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Speaking of that, I saw the little thing you did on Instagram yesterday with the dog names. Oliver Wendell Holmes.
My
What is-
dad.
okay,
It's Sherlock Holmes' real name.
Okay.
And it actually, I saw that it corrected it to Holmes instead of Holmes.
I know. And I saw that and I'm like, I mean, it sounds like a well-respected building company.
I think my dad started calling him that. So when we were remodeling our house, we stayed with my parents for like 6 weeks, and my dad and mom, like, they spoiled the puppies just like they spoiled the grandkids, and my dad just called him that.
It's like Oliver Wendell Holmes, now starting at the mid 300s.
He was. My dad said it was Sherlock Holmes's real name. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Now we could just pivot to Oliver Wendell Mahomes.
Hey.
Hey.
Heyo.
Hey.
He does have a little jersey. He's got a Chiefs jersey.
He does.
Yep. Okay, so the next topic we wanted to dive into here, which is sort of a spicy one. It's a heavy one. Is internet arguing, and it is something that we see a ton of with comments on our posts.
Oh.
Yeah. Not every time, but when it happens, boy, it runs like 200 comments deep with this one thread, and
It's normally two people like just
Yes.
name calling and going back and forth.
just
or-
taking swings at each other. So we've actually been doing a lot of talking about this because, you know, we every once in a blue moon we get attacked too, and we typically take the approach of just not engaging with it, or if anything, you know, just letting them know that we respect their opinion, if even in a little bit of a facetious way. But what we see is
petty kissy emoji.
yeah, that was Katie Thunder. A lot of
Thank you for your insight.
a lot of what we see now is people like not having the ability to even listen to an opinion that's different from their own. It's like they feel like their opinion on everything is part of their identity and their belief system, and if you disagree, you're attacking it, and they can't even take the time to listen to someone else's angle to try to understand it, and that just leads to this extreme divisiveness where it's just this is this person's truth, this is this person's truth, and they're just going to duke it out to the bitter end on this. And we see a lot of that with internet arguing. But
So the example that I brought up was the Facebook posts where it's a math equation. And you can plug in the equation in a calculator and get the correct answer.
Right.
But there's normally like 2 different answers, and I can see how they arrived at that.
Right.
At that answer.
It's however you break down the
Yes.
equation. Yeah.
But if you're plugging it into a calculator, just the way that it's written, you're going to get the answer because that's how it's done. But they will fight like tooth and nail to say that their answer is right. And the other people that have the correct answer are defending that they have the correct answer. But I'm like, you're arguing with facts at this point. Like it's not an opinion on math. I mean, there's multiple ways to get to an answer, but there's only one answer to an equation. Is that right?
And meanwhile, the guy who posted it is just smiling because he's getting all this engagement and that's what they
want. And
want.
these posts have like 50,000 comments or 10,000 shares or whatever, and it's insane.
But it's never just like explaining like why that person's wrong. It's be like, you're stupid.
That's the name calling.
Like,
it's like,
bro, again, I don't, well, it's like you said, it's just this general divisiveness of hate. Like you can't, I don't know when it shifted, like why you can't have an opinion. Like you can have an opinion, but if your opinion is not the same as this other person's opinion, go yourself.
Right.
I mean, that's what they say. Like, it's like, oh, and it's usually the people who are saying like, oh, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And then you give their opinion. You're like, well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, you can't have it both ways here.
Right.
Like it used to just be like, why can't you just agree to disagree? Or, oh, okay, that's what you think. That's your opinion. Like, that's fine. You have your opinion. I have mine. We don't have to agree on everything, but then we also don't have to be assholes to everybody.
even if you do view someone with a differing opinion as your own, as an enemy, you know, one of the things I was talking to you about last night that I saw on an interview with a former CIA agent was them saying that the best way to shut an enemy down is to listen to them, get them to open up, try to understand their angle. And what will probably happen is that you'll understand more of where they're coming from, and it will probably change how you look at things a little bit too. If nothing else, being able to listen and understand their angle and respectfully disagree, you don't have to end an argument with someone winning. It's probably not going to happen. All the time, Candy Thunder and I will have differing opinions on things, and that will just be the end of the conversation. It's like, oh, well, I view it this way because of this, and she says, well, I view it this way because of this. And I'm like, interesting.
But I won.
Obviously.
Like, there
doesn't have to be a winner though, and typically there isn't. It's, you know, someone walks away and someone's like, oh, they stopped responding. Oh, I won. No, you didn't.
Word.
You didn't win anything. You're not. There's no prize to be won here. You're literally just wasting time and effort swinging away trying to force someone to adhere to your opinion who's never going to adhere to it. If anything, they're just going to walk away.
But then what usually happens is it goes away from you being the conversation that you're talking about.
It becomes an
and
attack.
Then it just becomes a personal attack. Like, oh, you're so stupid. You don't know shit. Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's like, bro, I gave a wrong answer. Like, you can just say, oh, no, that's not the right answer. This is the right answer. Okay, you don't have to say, oh, no, you dumb, stupid idiot. No wonder you're from here. You probably couldn't figure out shit. Blah. It's like, why? Why do you have to do that?
I saw an argument on Instagram, and the woman even apologized to the original poster. She's like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Thank you for correcting me. But people were still tearing her apart in comments. And someone went as far as to go to her profile and said, I saw you were struggling with weight gain. You're fat, you're ugly, you're disgusting, and was just like tearing her apart. And her comment wasn't even like, it was not tactfully said, but it wasn't rude. She just had no tact in it. But they went to her personal thing and started ripping her apart, like piece by piece. And there were like 160 some comments just attacking this person. And I was like, it's just people who are just miserable in their own lives, and they just sit there and be keyboard warriors and sit there and troll. Like, why? What's the benefit? Oh, good for you. Like, good for you. You're going to say, oh, you're a stupid piece of shit. Oh, great. Like, Thank you.
I think that's the philosophy that you have to have on it. And I think that, like, and I know, like, in the beginning of this whole Reddit thing, like, I know it was tough for you guys, like, in the beginning of, like, if somebody said something and, you know, oh, well, why would you have that opinion? You're wrong. Like, that's
I'm
like,
so disappointed in your opinion.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in that. And, like, it took some time getting used to, like, getting used to like, hey, like, and I say all the time, I'm like, they're not real. Like, they're not real people that are doing that. Like, it's just, they're internet people. They're out there. They're trolls. They're just doing it. So the only reason that people do that is to get attention to themselves. That's the only reason they do it. They're doing it so you will acknowledge them and you will call them out. Because, yeah, there may be 15 people that say, oh, hey, you're great, you're great, you're great. And you may say something. They're not going to get noticed. But then the one person who says, oh, your opinion's stupid, more than likely, they're going to get engaged with over that. And that's what they're wanting. They want the attention. They want the attention themselves. And the best way that they think to do it is to be mean about it and be violent.
So there's multiple angles here. And, you know, Tony, where you're kind of going here is, you know, from the content creator standpoint, what you see happening here, but also on the commenter standpoint, you know, not the person trying to stir the pot or cause problems, but someone who stumbles upon it and may have the gut reaction to want to engage. I think you have to keep a couple of things in mind. I heard this recently, and I think there's some truth to it. The easiest way to spot an idiot is by looking at the person who's being cruel.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
If you see somebody being cruel, it is likely an indicator that there's no logic or real reasoning behind their opinion. They're just trying to inflict harm because that's all they have. So if you get to a point in a conversation where someone is literally just calling names or not even substantiating their argument at all, just slinging mud, it's because that's all they have. And you're not going to do any good with them. There's no sense in engaging with them. They're literally an idiot. So I don't know. It's just, but there's no point to it.
But I also don't understand, you know, when you're scrolling through social media, like if you're on Facebook or something, and you know how you see like the sponsored ads and stuff, and they'll always show like one comment, and usually it's like, oh, this is the dumbest, stupid thing. I'm like, why do we have to put that out there? Why do you feel the need to have to comment on everything and just rip something apart? And it's like, listen, you know, the old adage used to be, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. Right?
And I think you could still speak your opinion, but you could be like, hey, this product didn't work for me.
Like, this thing.
Hopefully you guys have a better, like something tactful.
helpful to other people.
Okay. And you know, it's the same type of thing. If you go to a restaurant and you have a bad meal at that restaurant, what's the best thing to do? Is the best thing to do, tell the waitress, tell the manager, be like, hey, you know, this wasn't great. Just want to let you know. Or do you go on there and you write a review or you write a Facebook post, and you say, I went there and it was the worst service I've ever had, and the food was terrible, and the cold of this, and they couldn't believe how much blah, 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 blah. I would never eat here again. Nobody should ever eat here. Like, what good does that do? Especially if you're a small business, and a lot of these people that comment on all these things are commenting on small businesses and restaurants and things like that. It's like, why? What good comes from you tearing down somebody else? Instead, why don't you give them constructive criticism to where they can improve, or something can be improved.
Give them the opportunity to correct what's going on instead of just bashing them. 9
times out of 10, if you have a problem at a restaurant, at a car dealership, with a product that you buy, 9 times out of 10, if you handle it in a diplomatic way and you say, hey, I just want to let you know that this didn't work out this way, this was bad, it's going to go a lot better for you than just sitting there and tearing them down and just berating somebody, because most of the time the person that you're berating and tearing down has nothing to do with the problem that you have.
Right.
This all goes back to being solution focused rather than problem focused, right? And that's a general frame of mind where it's, you know, either if I'm looking for problems, I'm going to find them. If I'm focused on problems, that's what I'm going to radiate. That's what I'm going to put out there. And that's what I'm going to attract. If I am solution focused, and yes, the problem exists, you're not ignoring it, but you're trying to find a way to solve it and make sure it doesn't happen again in general, then solutions are what you're going to radiate and solutions are what you're going to attract. But a lot of people find it is easier to focus on problems. No doubt there. It is way easier. And a lot of people just go that route, but then it starts becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's manifesting where it's, if you're problem focused, you're going to find all the problems every day. And that just seems like a very frustrating way to live.
But also, if you know who you are and you know what you believe and you have the ability to listen to other people, the mudslinging can't affect you. It can't bother you. And it took it took me longer to get there than it did for Dusty. But once I know what kind of man my husband is. I know what kind of man Tony Spark is. If somebody says something bad about you, they can say something bad. We can laugh it off because I know the type of people that you are. I know who I am, and what you sling on the internet isn't going to affect me.
Yeah.
And we had that happen and we laughed about it because what else can you do? It's funny.
But it did take a while to get to that point.
Oh, for sure.
Because
it was
when you're
hard.
not used to having that, because, you guys went from, and it was more
barely posting,
but it was
anything.
more Dusty for quite a while of just him on camera, right? It wasn't you, it wasn't me, it was just him for a long time. And so it took a while to get used to being in that public internet world of like, hey, and like there was lots of times where I'm like, hey, it's fine.
Instantly, I got so defensive about him.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, you just have to ignore it. You just have to pretend. Because I just kept using the phrase like, they're not real. These aren't real.
Yes.
Like they're not.
But to develop that shell takes a while. And now I'm able to look at those comments and be like, thank you, because you're engaging. Yeah. And when you engage, we get more reach.
And so I think there's a line too that happens with, I would say it probably happens with, bigger celebrities and bigger internet influencers, where it gets to a point where you can kind of understand how they get to be how they are, of not wanting to deal with the public and not wanting to, and having that really hard outer shell because they just get attacked on a daily basis nonstop. And as good of a show as you can have, if you start getting hundreds of thousands of comments a day about what a piece of shit you are, like, you're not a piece of shit, but at the end, you just have that, it's that little voice in the back of your head. You're like, oh,
but they said it.
But they said it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the celebrities who read mean tweets on camera, right? Yeah. And I saw one of those yesterday.
I love those.
I loved those too.
And to be to that point where they must be, where they have to be able to take it with a grain of salt and be like, yeah, it's funny. That's kind of the place that you have to get to. It just takes a while.
But I think it's I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the statement that bothers me most is that they're celebrities. They signed up for this. They knew what they were getting themselves into. Like, nobody signs up for getting shit on 24/7. No one signs up for 100,000 comments telling you what a piece of shit you are. Nobody signs up for that. And I think it's so wrong for people to say, oh, you're putting yourself out in the public eye. We all do. You walk into Walmart, you're putting yourself out in public. You're not going to walk up to someone and tell them they're a giant piece of shit.
Exactly.
Look what you're wearing. It's disgusting. Fix your hair, fix your makeup. You're not going to say that to people. You're saying it on the internet where you're protected by a screen, and it makes me angry.
Say it in a tweet, that's a cop out. Say it in the street, it's a knockout. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's keyboard warriors.
You need to calm down.
You need to calm down.
You're being too loud.
Also, by the time this comes out, we will have already been to the T-Swift concert at Arrowhead. I say we, meaning the two of them, while I take my dad's stance in the parking lot. Which I'm totally fine with. Which
we're going to have to figure out. Did you see what they've announced that it's there will be no tailgating going on at these other stadiums. There's thousands of people outside the stadium, and they're like, yeah, that's not happening.
So you have to have a ticket to get into Arrowhead.
Now they have said that too at Chiefs games for the last probably 3 or 4 years of like, if you don't have a ticket, you can't go in. Like, you can't come into the park, because what would happen at Arrowhead at Chiefs games is you would have a bunch of people that would go to Arrowhead, go to the game, or go to the parking lot and never go into the game. They never bought a ticket at the game. They came to tailgate because tailgating is the experience there. Right. And so they're like, oh, we can check you're not going to check every ticket in a car full of people. You're not going to do it because you're not going to count the people. You're not going to do it. But we've had situations where, because when we go to those Chiefs games, like, we're usually in a motorhome with a bunch of people, and like, they've come by and been like, okay, you can't sit. Like, he's been sitting outside watching on the TV, and they make him go sit inside because they don't want him in the parking lot. And that comes from, was it a guy got killed or a guy?
Shit.
It was like a guy got drunk, or I don't know if a guy got drunk and he went into the wrong car or something. I don't know. It was something that had to do with he didn't have a ticket to the game. And so it's one of those, like,
was this at Arrowhead?
Yeah. One guy ruins it for everybody type of thing, where it got to be, because that was a thing for years for years, it was a known thing. Like, just go to Arrowhead and I'll just hang out in the parking lot and listen to the game or watch the game on a TV in the parking lot. And Yeah, they don't encourage that anymore. But I have a plan, Dusty, that I'm gonna work out. What did he have to say about that?
Yeah,
said no.
extremely opposed.
Why?
Extremely opposed.
He said not necessary.
Well, I'm pretty sure our parking pass doesn't cover an RV.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
Okay. Also, it's completely unnecessary.
Or it's exactly what we need. You say it's completely unnecessary, but like we're going to be out there for a long time and it's going to be really hot where we could sit in the air conditioning until it's time to go in. And then you could sit in the air conditioning the entire time too.
We can also do that in our vehicle.
So we could
That's
sit
not
with-
a house on wheels.
Okay, all right, but listen, but 6 of us sitting in a car for 2 hours with the air running, and then you're gonna have to sit in there for another 4 hours with the car running, and then we're gonna sit another hour and a half waiting to get out of there with the car running.
We're gonna have to fill up like right before
That's
we
what
go
I'm
in.
saying. Or I think it's a great solution.
Make the parking pass work for it, and I'm game.
All right, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
But
Okay,
anyway, yeah,
so-
we are going to Taylor
Yes.
thanks to the wonderful generosity of
Of
Miriam.
my ex-husband's girlfriend who gave up her ticket.
Don't try to connect the dots.
So we are going. It's me and Tony, my ex-husband, Ava, our daughter, and Kieran, Dustin's daughter, and Ava's friend. So 3 teenagers, 3 adults.
I'm sure we'll have stories when we come back from that. Okay. So Candy Thunder found this relationship advice story. And although it's not like a full blown story, it is something that requires some conversation because it is gold.
We're going to read it directly from Reddit, so we can get into these comments from the OP. It's very short.
Okay. So this was a relationship advice post from 2 days ago. And it says, how do I, 26 female, deal with my boyfriend, 26 male, being so dependent on me? Usually everything is really great between us, but Saturday, my boyfriend dislocated and fractured his dominant wrist. Ever since then, I have been having to help him with literally everything, like basic stuff like eating, driving, getting dressed, even bathing. His cast can't get wet, ? He got surgery today, and ever since we left the hospital, he's either complaining about the pain or he's sleeping. Seriously? I know he probably is in pain, but it's starting to give me the ick. I really like him so much, but it's getting to be too much. I want him to be the independent man I fell for. Do I end it? Or how do I confront this issue? His rehab is a couple more weeks long. Not sure I can take it. Let me know your advice. Thanks.
Okay, so hold on one second. Before we comment, we have to...
This is not an Am I the Asshole story, but this is ASCON 1
She is
already.
ASCON 1 all the way.
Already.
So someone here... Someone commented back to her and said, why don't you go break a bone you rely on every day and see how damn independent you are? He's injured for what, 4 whole days and you're over it? You're not wife material. You're not girlfriend material. You're barely one night stand material because there's a risk of pregnancy and your selfish genes getting passed on. Please leave him. He deserves better. She responds and says, you should be so lucky to get a one night stand with me. I was prom queen runner-up to Jessica Sanders in high school, and also selfishness can't be hereditary.
I was runner-up.
So the responses to this are great too. It's like, LOL, you're 26 and still bragging about being prom queen, but runner-up.
Real, not even prom queen.
Tells me everything I need to know about you. Some people peak in high school. Oh, dear God. She didn't even peak then. She got second place. Yeah, that's
Also,
rough.
this tells me that this is the type of person that I would be interested to know what kind of job the boyfriend has, because she wants a life of not having to do anything and be like, I want him to be independent and do everything so I can just sit back and relax.
I'm sorry, David, but you're injured and it's gross.
Like, bro, come on. Listen,
Don't
here's
love
what's
this
gonna
journey
be-
for you.
Here's what's going to be funny. Let's just say that these two magically work this out. Let's say that she gets pregnant and they're married and she gets pregnant. 3 days after she has the baby, is he going to be like, oh, I'm over it?
Right.
Man, she's
this
just
is ick.
listen. She's just like complaining about being sore.
She needs help with everything.
She needs help with everything, and she's just like tired, and she's really cranky, and I'm just over it. Like, how do you think that would go over? Put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, this is
like, what are you doing?
I think she's doesn't want kids.
No, this is an ask.
Because they would take away the attention from her.
ascon one.
so I think the best part of this is that he had surgery the day she wrote this
She's
post.
complaining about the day of.
She's like, I know he's probably in pain, but it's starting to give me the ick. It's been not even a full day.
She said that he's complaining about pain or he's sleeping. I'm sure he was had anesthesia, so he's exhausted. Like it makes you sleepy all day long. And she's like, that's so ick.
Like, what are you doing? Who are you?
I feel like that this is not the relationship that you need to be.
Did she comment more? Are there more comments from her?
Hit close.
Close on this.
So there was another one. Someone said, you really need some self-introspection. Imagine if you got hurt and your boyfriend says, because of that, he's just not into you anymore. What the I would normally suggest offloading some of the burden to other family to ease your time during this, but Jesus, I hope to never be with someone as self-centered as you during my worst moments. This made me lose faith in the world. And there was someone that said that they were a fan of her account, that they were following her or whatever. And she said, someone said something, but she's like, I can't have a fan. That's weird. Like she was liking that people were following her on all her posts.
I like that comment behind that. You're actually insane.
Yeah.
There's a comment that just says, you're actually insane. That's terrible. I hope that you leave. I agree with that first, but I hope you leave him. Leave him. You're right. You should leave him. Be done with him. It's over. Because that guy deserves, it doesn't take much to be better than that.
Her karma is negative
63. Yes, that's great. Oh my gosh. This this kind of shit makes you really thankful for the people in your lives who aren't like this, because this is just a shitty human being. This is someone who looks at everyone in a how can they serve me context. And that's garbage. Like there's no reciprocation here. There's no balance of anything. It is literally just, I want to be worshipped, and right now you're injured and you can't do that. So I'm going to have to substitute someone else in.
And there's both, male and female who act like this.
Sure.
But it's, I can't imagine being with someone that.
Because again, what happens if something happens to her? What would she do? She'd probably expect him to wait on her hand and foot.
Yes.
And do absolutely anything and everything and not bitch one bit about it.
Yep.
And
he should be so lucky to have to wipe her ass.
That's what I was going to say. What if she got so sick? She's the girl from the one where she got
Listen, we're probably being unfair. We are dealing with almost royalty here.
Right.
She was almost prom queen. Almost. You ain't first, you're last. All right.
I don't know, Ricky Bobby. I thought maybe sometimes I could come in first.
No. If you
How'd we do that?
If you come in first, then how am I going to win? Listen, if you ain't first, you're last. All right. So if you finish runner-up in prom queen, I bet. No, I'm not going to say it. That was going to be bad. Oh.
This is rough. This is rough.
That was terrible. You're a terrible human being. You're a terrible human being.
Okay, that is it for us for this episode 2 of Thunder and Spark. I think we made it through it, hopefully without any tech gremlins. We'll find out afterwards when we start getting into edit on this. Cross your fingers.
I see your red light.
Yeah, we've been checking that. Audio is, there's no weird echoes going on. We're in good shape, we think. We'll find out for sure.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. So thank you for hanging in there with us. We will have another episode of Thunder and Spark out next month. We're doing this monthly, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll have another one coming at you soon. And be sure that you check out Candy Thunder 1 on TikTok, Tony Spark _ on TikTok. And there is also a Thunder and Spark account on Instagram that you need to make sure that you go follow to stay hooked in with this kind of content and the other things that Thunder and Spark does.
My TikTok is quickly becoming a lake TikTok too, by the way.
I like
Nice.
it.
I've had 2 videos and they're both lake TikToks. So yeah.
Well, that's accurate.
Yes.
I've got a good one cooked up for the 4th of July that I'm gonna
Nice.
make too,
Also, you guys need to know that Lake Tony I'm pretty sure Tony is a chameleon, and I'm a chameleon to a certain point too, because you can like blend and change your personality to fit with whatever setting you're in. But like Tony has a southern drawl, and
weird.
Just becomes a completely different person.
I think it's just when I start drinking.
You step into a role.
Also, when I do like the auctioneering stuff, I immediately go to like
let's hear a little bit of it.
Yeah,
Come on,
we're
Tony.
still trying to get him to do this on camera.
Thanks for watching Thunder and Spark.
I really want him to do the auctioneering when we're thanking gifters during
Yes,
live.
it would
It's
be
the
so good.
Perfect thing to do.
So definitely,
I can't do it.
you
I
have to
can't
leave
do
a
it that way
comment.
though. I can't
if
do
you
it
want
that
to
way
hear
though.
Tony auctioneer.
Like that's
Yes,
like
please.
there are probably other auctioneers that could be able to read that off and do it, but I don't. Like I don't know if I could do it because like when I do it, it's just so like
Only one way to find out, bro.
No.
YOLO.
Leave a comment.
No.
Encourage Tony.
no comments turned off for this post.
It's for the kids. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.